Introduction. One of the best ways to learn and find inner peace is generally to do nothing. Most of the time, when people think they are doing nothing, they are actually making unconscious efforts to take in information and store it in their brains. Deep listening and acting, where the mind picks up audible information subconsciously, is one method utilized to do this. Deep listening entails paying attention to everyday sounds, natural sounds, etc. Know of how someone is feeling. The act of listening defines the degree of inner peace they can have. The act of listening draws the listener into a world where he becomes suddenly more aware of his surroundings. Many people no longer understand the value of inaction. Sometimes staying still yields better results than taking action. Over time, people have used inaction as a tactic to communicate their intentions. Because silence has the power to upset repressive forces, you must discover its potential. The inability to speak up may be remedied by remaining silent. Collectively, inaction sends a strong message to the ruling class. In addition to discovering a means to increase the power of inaction, Jenny Odell also succinctly outlined why it is crucial for the development of civilization. So this book by Jenny Odell is the life guide you need if you feel too oppressed to speak up or afraid about being too active. Chapter 1. Taking some time to be by yourself and do nothing will help you reflect on and assess your life and your current situation. This stage of life is known as the removal phase, and it is centered around inaction. There are times in life when doing nothing is the wisest course of action. As a result of nothingness, boredom allows you to think deeply about who you are. Many people have had their time commercialized and have been led to feel that they cannot be productive if they are idly passing the time away. Being continuously productive doesn't merit any praise. Suddenly, you come to. It would be nice if you had enough alone time to do nothing but concentrate on yourself. Othello, the renowned Greek general, said, "Leave me but a little time to myself." You don't have to cease acting if you choose to do nothing. In order to be more productive and less stressed, doing nothing should act as a tool for reflection and mending. To increase your productivity, you should start or join a different society if you believe that you must leave society in order to find inner peace. It's a frequent misconception that the greatest approach to achieve inner calm is to turn away from the outside world, but this is untrue. In actuality, isolating yourself from society makes you less effective and productive. You can find comfort in doing nothing without withdrawing from society. Felix Levi went on a trip to Cambodia with his partner after developing stress-related illnesses as a result of working too much. He achieved inner serenity in Cambodia while meditating without interruption with his partner Brooke Dean. Felix noticed that people were overly engrossed on their phones on the trip home and set out to rectify this. He established a camp for individuals to go to in order to detox from their addiction to their smartphones. The concept worked well, allowing many individuals to spend more time engaging in creative and enjoyable activities rather than constantly looking at their phones. Felix was able to assist those who were dependent on their phones, but he did not do it by isolating them from the rest of society. He replaced their digital civilization with one that made human contact compulsory. Chapter 2. The act of doing nothing undermines the notion that life should go according to some sort of order. Many people find it difficult to observe others doing nothing because they feel that everyone should be doing something. Others find it challenging when you do nothing, demonstrating that sometimes productivity is a result of the urge to act. You can make more informed decisions about your life when you choose to do nothing at certain times. Being inactive broadens your horizons and exposes you to fresh viewpoints. This is not intended to be a call for you to procrastinate on your work in any manner. Instead, it's a strategy you must use to foster a reflective environment. As demonstrated by the Industrial Longshoremen Association's industrial strike in 1932, inaction can lead to significant actions. Due to the arduous job dock workers had to accomplish at the port, a strike broke out. The laborers' employers paid them very little for nearly 20 hours of work, and if they complained, they simply replaced them with another worker. The workers ultimately decided to organize under the Industrial Longshoremen Association in order to receive compensation commensurate with the worth of the labor they performed. The workers unanimously went on strike on May 9, 1933, taking advantage of the boss's inactivity to compel a change. The employers declined to accept this offer. Did you know that workers have utilized strikes on thousands of occasions throughout the world, and they have had a significant impact? Many people believe that the attention economy, or the social environment where people seek to draw attention to themselves, is harmful to the development of the human mind. Many individuals think that trying to avoid using these social media platforms is the greatest way to be more productive, but this isn't totally accurate. A complete rejection of something does not inevitably result in a replacement. Learn how to use something in moderation and to exert control over it as opposed to outright refusing it. Chapter 3. How you perceive things totally rests on you and your capacity for accurate interpretation. You created the image, so it is expected of you to comprehend it completely. Sometimes you may believe that something is not worthwhile or is uninteresting and unnecessary, but you have been viewing it incorrectly. Sounds or a feeling of unfamiliarity can impact a bizarre reality. After seeing a movie or seeing something different, you start to notice the sounds around you. Therefore, human beings are motivated to pay more attention to things by their natural curiosity. Your ability to see beyond what is in front of you and to pay attention to the unknown is enhanced by curiosity and attention. How long you look and how long you listen determines what you see and hear. It is also true that you become more aware of something at the degree at which you are paying attention to it. A condition of openness known as attention presupposes that there is something novel to be observed or experienced. You must never believe your observations are limited while in this state. Realities are entirely inhabited, and if you can come to an agreement on a new reality with others who share your interests through attention and curiosity, you may be able to shift your perspective. Chapter 4. If you don't look at life from a variety of perspectives, it may seem unfair to you. Even if it could seem as though others are getting in your way, a different viewpoint might show that you are actually the one obstructing others. Because life is like a grocery store, where many strangers converge for various reasons and levels of preparedness, you must make room for others when necessary. To have a fruitful life, you must develop the ability to coexist peacefully with both like-minded individuals and total strangers whose values may differ from your own. You must build relationships with those nearby, since those who are close to you are more likely to support you than those who are not. It's not a good idea for people to put greater trust in their online buddies than in those who are physically there. The likelihood of receiving support from your online pals when you need it is far lower than the likelihood of receiving it from your neighbors. People can join new organizations and explore new ideas when they come together, which would help their civilization advance. The physical world can be seen in the social world. People can speed the evolution of their civilization when they understand how to strike a balance between the two without disconnecting themselves from engaging in physical contact with strangers. Chapter 5. You must first acknowledge that you do not know the entire tale before you may seek context. The more attention you pay, the more context you notice, since context is a byproduct of attention. When you observe a new area, you can determine whether or not your presence there will be welcomed. Animals that listen as a form of survival are relatively straightforward to identify. The animals in a new area will assess whether or not your presence will endanger them before accepting you. They watch and listen. Then, through their responses to you, they express their viewpoint. The sequence in which you perform particular actions in your life depends on the context. There is an abundance of information in the world, and determining which is significant or not requires context. Making time for oneself is necessary for the process of immersing yourself in activities that give value to your life. You spend less time getting addicted to social media when you're focused on the things that make your life better. You need to care about the environment in order to understand how to care for people. Your surroundings influence what you pay attention to and reflect the type of person you are. Only the average Albert Camus dies from idleness. Conclusion. There will be a point in your life when doing nothing is the only option. You'll reach this stage of your life when you realize the value of doing nothing and using that time to think about yourself and find inner peace. Humans must comprehend the value of context, attentiveness, calm, and nature since they are a mirror of their society. You learn a great deal about life the more you pay attention. Even if you don't take any action, you may still be effective. However, if your inaction has no impact, you are almost likely going about it the incorrect way. You can express opposition to repression and coercion by being silent. By refusing to fit in with society's problems and leaving, you are taking a stand for future generations as well as for yourself. Try it. Make time for a digital detox so that you can rediscover the value of interpersonal engagement.